Hey everyone, it's Lucky Lucario, and welcome to this brand new Pokemon playthrough challenge. Today we will be playing Pokemon Y, but we are only allowed to use Bug-type Pokemon moves. Now I've done a few challenges like this in the past, but none of them were as hard as this one was. Starting off, we could only use String Shot till level 15, and I wiped to 6 of the 8 gym leaders at least once. Not to mention the Elite Four is basically designed to exterminate Bug-type Pokemon. The difficult part about this challenge is we don't get too many good bug-type moves in the beginning of the game, and in the end our moves are too weak to do much damage. We'll have to see how this all plays out. The rules for this challenge are simple. I can only use bug-type moves in battle. I may use HMs outside battle, and just because I can only use a bug-type move doesn't mean I can only use bug-type Pokemon. I can still use other types as long as they have a bug-type move. I may not use items in battle as an extra challenge, and I may not glitch the game in any ways. But other than our starter Pokemon, I think that's all to it. So let's get into Pokemon Y, but I can only use bug-type moves. Look at these recordings. I have 31 recordings to go through, and some of them are crazy long. Editing this is going to be such a pain, so please like and subscribe, and it will all be worth it. Thank you very much. I start this journey by choosing a character everyone knows other than this dude. We hop into some dimensional mirror and enter the Pokéworld. We get pecked by Fletchling and change our clothes. Much better. Some teenagers come knocking at the door, and they took me to more people. Honestly, they could have done with just Shauna and Serena. The other friends aren't really necessary to this game. Anyways, the guy with the black shirt gives us a choice of a starter Pokemon: Froakie, Fennekin, or Caterpie. Since this is a bug-type run, I decided to change the starter option because none of the starters learn bug-type moves, and in order to progress, you have to have a bug-type move. Caterpie's moveset looks something like this. So we don't get an attacking move until level 15, great. This was gonna be a troublesome beginning. I decided to make the naming theme things like that are very annoying since, well, we are using bug-type Pokemon, what do you expect? I accidentally clicked no to a nickname, so I'll rename it later. When we look at Caterpie's moves, we only have String Shot till level 15, but after that we didn't learn much else. Right now, as our only bug-type move is String Shot, a move that only lowers your speed and nothing else. So how do we attack? This was gonna be rough. First, we had a rival fight with Shauna, and I String Shotted to my doom. I didn't change the whiteout counter for quite some time but this does count as a whiteout. I do record it in the layout like 5 minutes later when I actually realized I have a layout. Luckily, you don't have to beat Shauna to progress, so we just continue along with the game. Our next challenge was attacking other Pokemon, and fighting this Pidgey, I white out not realizing I could just run away. So that's 2 whiteouts I haven't recorded. Serena gives us more the catching tutorial and gives us Pokeballs. And with that is the key to getting a bug-type move. Caterpie learned Bug Bite at level 15, so all I had to do was catch Pokemon and gain EXP off that until we reached level 15. In this process, we caught another team member, Scatterbug, and later Vivillon. Vivillon learns Bug Buzz at level 35, which I said is our only good move. So after using all my Pokeballs, I realized unfortunately this is impossible. Doing this can only get you to level 9. So after that, I sort of have to bend the rules. In my Pokemon Grass turn, I didn't use grass moves the entire game. Sometimes when I was locked into using a non-grass move, unfortunately I would have to use a non-grass type move. How I bended the rules was, first I had Scatterbug I caught kill so that switching it was impossible. Then I had to deplete all my String Shot power points without dying in the process. If I had to heal, I had to use potions and not heal my power points back. After that, I was virtually broke. I had to sell my potions to remove the variable of wasting turns with healables, and after that all I could do was fight the trainers and hope I was strong enough to defeat them. I could only fight trainers to get rid of the ability to run away. This literally gave me no other choice than to use Tackle. And I had to heal every time I went low because getting potions I was broke, so I couldn't get any. So after doing this process over and over again on the trainers in Route 2, Sandalwood Forest, Route 3, Sandalwood City, and Route 22. After that, I had enough money to buy a couple potions, heal up my team, and buy enough Pokeballs to get me to level 15. I learned Bug Bite, and after I declined the evolution, so I was still a Caterpie at level 15. After that, I caught a Weedle in the forest and named it Traffic, cause we all hate it when traffic comes at the worst moments and gets you late to everything. I switched them all to level 15, and that thing took multiple days. I won't blab on about it cause there is a lot of gameplay footage to go through. Just please leave a like so my suffering will be worth it. With 3 whiteouts on my cottages, it was time to fight Viola. We actually had a close call with this trainer right here who had a combi with Gust. We came out with no deaths though. We entered the Viola battle and started with Scatterbug, who took care of Surskit easily. Next was Vivillon, though our attacks didn't do much. It eventually took out Skybug, but we got some health on it. We bred out Caterpie next, which I renamed the Long Lines, another thing that can get you late to things. But anyways, I went for Bug Bite and it did some damage. Eventually, we knocked it to the red before Caterpie was knocked out. When I sent out Weedle Viola potions, but Weedle has an insane attack stat and does a lot of damage. It was a matter of crits now, and luckily we got a crit taking Vivillon to the red. She goes to Infestation, and on the next turn the fight was over and Weedle evolved into Kakuna. This was one of 2 gym fights that we did not wipe out to. Next up was a trip to Route 4, and we had some new encounters. A Burmy on Route 3, which I named Shores because it just came off the top of my head. Definitely not because I haven't done them in weeks. Burmy's moveset was not great. We didn't learn a lot of bug-type moves, and I didn't want it in my final team due to its bad base stat total anyways. We also caught a combi, and wait, this one is male. Next, we also caught a female combi after an hour of searching, and damn it, I misclicked and ran away. We also found a female combi and named Snob for some reason. Combi's moveset is okay, and as a Vespiquen we learned Heal Order, which will be great since we can't use items. Then we went to Lumino City and met with the professor. His name is like Psychamore or something. Anyways, we have to battle him. I think it's really cool how you battle the professor in these games. It's something new as well. Anyways, his Bulbasaur went down easily as I predicted, but his Charmander was a tough one. Our Bug Bites did damage, but they were still seeded, so I had to switch to Kakuna. We got hit with Smokescreen, and then we went for Bug Bite. It did damage, but then Charmander went for Ember, and that did damage. On the next turn, for some reason, Sycamore goes for Smokescreen, and then Smokescreen again. It avoids our next attack, so I switch to Caterpie. But Caterpie gets switched on the Smokescreen, causing us to miss our Bug Bite. Then we get Ember doing enough damage to take us to the red. On the next turn, it Smokescreens though, and avoids our Bug Bite. It wouldn't be long until we hit one though. Charmander goes for Scratch, which we somehow live, and then we hit Bug Bite, taking Charmander to the red. On the next turn, we hit Bug Bite, taking out the Charmander. Finally, it was Squirtle, and I switched to Kakuna. We tried to take it out but died, so we brought out Scatterbug to finish it off. If the Charmander decided to attack at any point in the battle, we would have been in some deep trouble. We met up with an actress and some guy with cool hair. It's almost as if it gives it flair, if you get what I did there. Before I leave the city, I get a photo shoot. I also get a nice haircut with the money Viola gave me, and I am now broke again. I also go to this cafe and see the same guy with the hair and the actress. What a coincidence. With that, I say goodbye to the good city and leave for Route 5. I met this nice lady with 2 Lucarios. I mean, that's pretty unbalanced team, but I shouldn't judge. We also had a double battle which let us evolve our Swoopa into a Vivillon and our Metapod into a Butterfree. Since our team was pretty unbalanced in level as well, I didn't want to switch to Burmy to learn to move, which was Bug Bite at level 15. We also had one of our only fights with Tierno. For some reason, I remember struggling with this battle as a kid, so I expected him to be hard, but he only has a level 12 Corpish. We went for Bug Bite, and it began setting up with Sword Stance. We went for Bug Bite again, and I went for Vice Grip. We then left it at 1 HP with only a Bug Bite to take it out on the next turn. Wow, that was easier than I remember. Kakuna finally evolved as well, and now we had a Beedrill. After that, I got to Campfire Town, which is a very useless town. Its only point is the Pokemon Center, so you don't have to go back to Luminos when you want to heal. We just passed on ahead onto Route 7. I couldn't get too far before I saw my teacher lying on the ground. I tried yelling and stomping on it, but it wouldn't get up. That was fun though. I had to go on a little side quest to get the flute to wake it up. However, we couldn't get the flute till we caught this Pokemon, so after a couple minutes on that, we got the Pokeflute. We also got this HM Cut. I don't remember if we need it, they just give it to you on the ground, which is really not how they would give a mandatory item that you would have to use for the rest of the game. We go to watch Fireworks with Shauna. One of the pros of the female character is that in this game, Shauna doesn't go all lovey-dovey on you in this scene like she does if you're the boy character. After that, we got a photo to remember this little side quest, and I also tipped the photo guy. I am now broke again. I barely have enough money for a potion. I go to the Pokeflute, and finally we could wake up our teacher so we get him off the bridge. Our teacher wakes up and attacks his own students, so we have to fight it. The fight goes pretty well. He uses a lot of defense curls, but in the end he got obliterated and agreed to leave the bridge. The next semi-important thing is to fight Tierno and Trevor. However, I'm just stating that this battle exists because it really didn't matter, we didn't wipe or anything. After this, we headed onto the route in Amberette Town, in which we rode a Rhydon on the way to some cave. We got into a sky battle as well, which was fun. It would be very cool to do a flying type challenge on these games because the sky battles would be so much fun. Anyways, we've done all the fun stuff, and now it was time for more Whiteouts. We met the dangerous Team Flare who uses fire types, a type that is very good against us. The first grunt was challenging. He had a Houndour. Bug bites were enough to take it out though. The problem was Zubats. These things were so annoying. You can't damage them, and later in the game, the Golbats know acrobatics. We had many wipes of this evolution line, and it was really annoying. We managed to squeeze through on this fight though. Calum, the boy antagonist, came to help with the other fights, so we didn't wipe to any of those grunts as well. After that was done, we rode our ride on back to Ambret Town and made our way to Salage City, where the second gym leader, Grant, was. Now, Grant uses rock types, a Pokemon type that, tied with grass, has the most number of type weaknesses, being 5. However, bugs were not one of them. I could tell going into this fight that Grant wasn't going down easily. Before the fight, I got a bike, which was cool. I could ride in it whatever I wanted. There was also a clothing store here, which seemed cool, so I went shopping. How to like the brand new Lucario. The Combi evolved into Vespa-Queen while training for Grant, and we traveled all the way to Geosunish Town and got this lovely photo in front of the boulders. At least I would have the memory before it gets obliterated. Here's our team before Grant. I gotta say we're a bit low in level, more than I wish, but we have 5 Pokemon. I thought that this fight would be close because Grant only has 2. Let's see how it went. Grant starts with Amora and I bring out Beedrill. Bug Bite does about 1/4 damage. Amora parries like I predicted, but on the next turn we almost took it out. However, it is in potion range, so Grant, Hyper Potion? Why'd you need Hyper Potion, Cicero? To be fair, I am on like the 4th page of the script, so I guess you could call this middle game. Besides that, we get another Bug Bite in. Amora lands a crit the next turn, but it doesn't actually do much damage. However, we were in kill range for a takedown, which I didn't see coming, so Beedrill was taken out. This didn't matter too much. A paralyzed Pokemon wouldn't have helped against Tyrantrum anyways. We bring up Vivillon and Amora, and kill Amora. Next is Tyrant. Though, my script is so weird, I named it Tyrantrum instead of Tyrant. I'm so dumb. Anyways, next is Tyrant, though we can't do much and it one-shots Vivillon. We bring up Vesperquin since it's the bulkiest, however it's also the slowest and gets one shot before we can land an attack. We only have 2 Pokemon left. I go for Bug Bite with Butterfree before falling and Bug Bite with Choice before it dies as well. We hadn't had a wipe in a while, so I wasn't too mad about this one. However, I knew I was going to have to grind. I challenged Grant again when my entire team is level 24, and I knew this would give us an advantage because we have a higher level. Grant sends out Amora, and we bring out Choice. We Bug Bite and get paralyzed. Next turn we get taken out. We bring out Vivillon next and I'll almost kill it before getting killed. I bring out Vesquin next while bringing Hyper Potion. We get paralyzed and take it out in the next couple of turns. Next was Tyrant and it takes us out easily. I bring out Butterfree and String Shot before getting taken out. It was up to traffic now. We went for Bug Bite and did some damage. We also survived a Rock Tomb as well, and thanks to String Shotting earlier, we are still faster. I have to pray for a crit and we almost take it out. That was so close. I knew that we could take out Grant soon. On the next attempt at Grant, our entire team was at least level 27 or higher. Beedrill had learned Pin Missile, which was a move we used throughout much of the game. Amora was first and we brought out Vivillon. However, we immediately died, which wasn't great. I brought out Beedrill next and went for Bug Bite and then got paralyzed. Then Grant used the Hyper Potion. On the next turn, we did take it out though. We were at full HP when Tyrant came out. We went for Pin Missile but died before we could use it. Then we brought out Vesperquin and flinched first turn and then taken out with Rock Tomb. When Mothim to Bug Bite, it did a lot, but then we were taken out. Lastly was Butterfree, and we Bug Bite before getting one shot. We needed a bit more grinding before we could beat Grant. I try again at the same level, but with a different strategy, and this strategy changed the whole game and came of what beat Grant. We start with Vivillon, and went for Bug Bite first, and Amora T-Waved. This was Vivillon's only purpose now, because now we could switch to the MPV of Beedrill. However, a crit was not part of the plan. We go for Pin Missile and take out down the Amora. Next was Tyrant and Pin Missile hit 3 times, which was just the amount to put in healing range. Not good. Tyrant then took us out. We brought out Butterfree as Grant Hyper Potions. We go for Bug Bite, which does some damage. Eventually, we get knocked out though. We brought in Vesperquin next, which almost immediately died. However, a Bug Bite was enough to put it in the red. We bring out Chores to finish it off. In this fight, every Pokemon was used to their full potential, and I think that's what helped us win. Even with Chores died, we still had Vivillon to finish it off. We could finally put that traumatic experience behind us and get ready for Karina. You actually have to fight Karina in Geosenge, so that's what we did. Her Lucario resisted our attacks, which wasn't great. Our attacks couldn't do much with Butterfree, so I sent out Breachill, the Pin Missile. However, it can't even do much. Her Lucario kept using Metal Sound as we still got attacked. Eventually, it started attacking and got us in the red. We got it in the red, but before we could take it out, Lucario outspeeds and kills the Beedrill. I sent out Beedrill to deal with it. We also learned Silver Wind, which is a move that boosts all your stats. However, Karina still had a second Lucario that took out Butterfree. I bring in Mothim, however this Lucario starts setting up. We managed to get quite some damage before Mothim dies though. We bring out Vespiquen next, but we can't attack it. We got Lucario in the red, and on the next couple turns we took it out. If Karina didn't have stupid AI, we definitely would have wiped. After that battle, we got through some new routes and got through Reflection Cave. However, we do have an encounter that I missed. On Route 10, you can encounter Yanma as a Horde encounter. I missed this because I was just checking on the usual encounters, not Horde encounters, so I went and got my Yanma. However, Yanma does not learn a Bug-type move till level 57, so I had to box it. After this, I went through Reflection Cave and to Shower City. Here, I got a new pair of clothes, and I got a new encounter, a Pokemon that is really great but only knows one Bug-type move. This Pokemon is Heracross, which is an absolutely insane encounter. With its base stat at 500, it's on the same level as pseudo-legendaries. However, it can only learn Pin Missile, so every up has its damage. I named the Heracross Glasses, by the way, because one of those things can be very annoying, especially when they fog up in your mask recently. After this, we were called to the Mega Evolution Tower. Before I got the photo with Phil, the photo guy, he seems really nice teleporting all the way here. The tower is one of those places where I can actually speed up in the emulator. The game usually runs at 100%, but here it runs at almost 200. When I'm not recording it, it can go up to 400%, and if I just restarted my computer, it can go all the way up to 500%, which is crazy. We have to fight our rival now, so I start out Heracross on the Meowstic. However, Heracross doesn't know Pin Missile yet, so I have to switch it out. I switched to Mothim and Bug Bite twice to take out the Heracross. Lastly was Braixen, which confused Butterfree and killed it. We did get a lot of damage though. I brought a Heracross to Vespiquen for EXP reasons. I Bug Bite and do some damage after I try to heal up but end up dying. I sent out Beedrill, the Pin Missile, on our way through. Callum is pretty easy because he uses two Pokemon that we're good against. After this little side thing, we had to fight the gym leader, Karina. Now Karina has a Halooncha, but our Pokemon were pretty high in level, so I didn't worry about it. Keep in mind that I try to keep the Whiteout counter as low as possible. Entering our battle, our team was level 31, except Chores, who was level 32. Mienfoo was first as Heracross almost took it out on the first turn, but after two Pin Missiles, it was taken out. Next was Machoke, and Pin Missiles didn't do too much. However, we got 5 Pin Missiles, and on the next thing, we took it out. Lastly was Halooncha. It used Hone Claws, and Pin Missile couldn't do much. I kept using Pin Missile until a Flying Press came and took it out. I brought out Beedrill next and went for Pin Missile. Halooncha used a Flying Press though, and that did about half our damage. Pin Missile only hit 2 times though, and on the next turn Beedrill was knocked out. I bring in Vespiquen and use Bug Bite. It can't do much though, and after 3 turns Vespiquen was knocked out. We only had half our team. I wasn't sure whether this was possible. I bring out Vivillon next, and String Shot so we are faster. I get some damage in before Vivillon dies. Then I bring out Chores to get as much damage as I can. However, I knew this wasn't possible when Karina Hyper Potion. Mothim dies and I bring out Butterfree, a Silver Wind, but it doesn't do much. We end up not getting the boost on any of the turns, and Halooncha knocked us out. I knew with a couple more levels we should be fine though. On the second attempt, I let Heracross deal with Mienfoo and Choke, since it's basically useless against Halooncha. Karina also healed a few times, so I'm hoping she's ran out of healables for Halooncha. When Halooncha comes out, I switch into Vivillon as Halooncha Hone Claws. Halooncha Hone Claws is again, and I do no damage at all. I switched to Beedrill to deal with Halooncha. However, I switched on a Flying Press and we cannot survive another one. We hit 3 Pin Missiles before falling. I bring in Glasses, hoping we'll get some more Pin Missile luck. We only hit twice, so the opposite basically, and Glasses faints. I bring in Butterfree next and Silver Wind. Flying Press is a 2-shot though, so on the next Silver Wind we die. I bring in Vespiquen next and Bug Bite. Halooncha is still faster though, so I decide to heal order. I switch to Chores to sack it. Chores managed to get Halooncha in the yellow, but Halooncha starts sitting up, which wasn't part of the plan. Eventually Chores dies and I put my plan to the test. I brought in Vivillon and String Shot twice before dying. Now, Vespiquen will hopefully be faster and I can deal before Halooncha attacks. Holinsho was in the red though, so I didn't even need to heal. After 2 bug bites, Holinsho was fainted. I also realized that I had the TM for Infestation, a bug type move, so I teach it to Beedrill, Mothim, Vespiquen, Butterfree, and Vivillon. However, we have to fight Karina again, but just with Lucky Lucarios this turn. With Mega Lucarios, oh my god. I never actually hit an attack, which is good. After I attack, I realized I can use items, so I chuck Pokeballs till I die, which wasn't long. This way, I never used a bug type attack, and after this, Kalim did give us the HM Surf. Luckily, you get a free Lapras on the route you have to surf, so I can just surf with Lapras. We also got to ride Skidoo, which was cool, and for some reason the screen went black for like 20 minutes, and you can hear music in the background. I don't know why, this was pretty weird. However, I don't think any important happened in these 20 minutes. When the screen continued, I was able to get a photo at the sea, and it's kind of cool how they did it, the picture with Lapras. However, the only other thing to do was to fight Ramos. I forgot to record this fight, however. I forgot to record our first whiteout to Ramos. We lost to Jumpluff, which knew Acrobatics and Swept. However, on attempt number 9 now, things went a little differently. Ramos started with Jumpluff and I brought out Vivillon. Acrobatics almost killed, but we managed to get a string shot in before we died. I brought out Beedrill next and Pin Missiled, and got Jumpluff to the yellow before dying. I brought out Glasses next and Pin Missiled and killed the Jumpluff. Go-Go was next and Pin Missile only hit twice, but on the next turn we managed to kill it. Lastly was Whip and Bell, but all it did was weep while we killed it. Even though we wiped the Gym Leader, he was one of the easiest trainers we fought, since we didn't need to level up on the second attempt, and almost none of our Pokemon died on the second attempt. After this, we got a Hollow Clip from Icelander, and we headed to Route 14, where we had to fight some Team Flare Drones. We actually wiped to the first grunt we saw because he had a Golbat. I told you these things suck, and a Bug-type move only challenge. After beating him, we got entry to the power plant, where Team Flare was mucking things up. We also wiped inside to a Golbat twice, and then after this we had to fight some Team Flare admins. They were a living joke, even to my team of bug types. After this, we met Big Guy and made our way to Lumino City. There was a lot of things to do here. I started by taking a new photo shoot in my new clothes. After this, I got a haircut. I decided to go shopping, but people think I'm homeless or something because they didn't think I was fashionable enough to buy clothes to be fashionable. That kind of just, it's kind of dumb. I battled gym trainers without any deaths, and it was time to battle Cornet. Emolga was first, and I brought out Vivillon, which almost died to an aerial ace, but we got a string shot in before it died. I brought Chores next and Bug Bite, but it doesn't do much. Emolga Volt switches and kills Mothim. After thinking about it, I bring in Beedrill. Pin Missile does nothing, and we get paralyzed and taken out on the next turn. Not good. I bring in Vespiquen and Infestation, and I plan to stall it out and use Heal Order. However, we get one shot. I bring in Glasses and Pin Missile, but it still doesn't do much, but we hit 5 times, which was good. I Pin Missile again and almost take it out, but then it takes us out. I bring in Butterfree, but Clement Hyper Potions, and in the next turn, I knew it was all over. I Silver Wind and then die this turn. This was our first whiteout on Cornet. I try again, and managed to beat the Magneton with only Butterfree standing, but then Heliolisk just killed us. I grinded again till our entire team was level 37 and tried Cornet again. We managed Magneton with only Heracross standing this time, but Emolga was brought out instead of Heliolisk, since Emolga is part Flying type. It managed to take out in 2 turns. I challenged Clement again, but I was pretty bored, and I was just watching TV while I grinded. I got the entire team to level 40. At this point, Vivillon had learned Bug Buzz, and I was hoping that move would be a game changer. I brought out Emolga first and Silver Winded before we died. I bring in Vivillon next and Bug Buzz. We died, but not before bringing Emolga to Potion Rage. I bring Mothim and Clement. I bring in Mothim and Clement Potions. Emolga Volt switches into Magneton and kills Mothim. I bring in Heracross and we get a lucky 5-turn Pin Missile, and on the next turn I take it out. Clement sends out Emolga next, and it takes us out. I bring in Vespiquen to Bug Bite, but Emolga Volt switches and Heliolisk kills it. I bring in my last Pokemon Beedrill to finish it off. We could actually win. Emolga was last and Pin Missile almost killed, but not enough damage to kill it. Amora retaliates and kills us. We were very close though. On the next attempt, Beedrill takes care of Amora, meaning it was safe to switch into Heracross. So when Beedrill died, I brought in Heracross. Heracross pin missiles twice on the first turn, then 5 times on the second turn, taking it out. Lastly was Heliobus, and it went down to 4 pin missiles. That was a brutal gym leader, but we had finally won. I met with Lysander again and left Luminos City again. Here we were challenged by Kalem. Meowstic and Absol went down easily like the usual, but Delphox was starting to become a problem. It killed Vivillon, and we brought out Traffic to pin missile it out. Since we were overleveled, it wasn't a hard fight. We actually did have a couple encounters on this route though. We find a Skorupi at Route 14. Skorupi evolves into Drapion. Like Heracross, Drapion has a 500 base stat total, and not gonna lie, this Pokemon carried the mid and end game. We made our way to Lavera City. Here there wasn't much to do. There was a clothes shop, so I decided to shop for some clothes. Then there was also a gym leader here, Valerie, the fairy type gym leader. Her Sylveon was level 42. Our team was pretty decent in level, so I leveled up Skorupi to level 39, hoping it will evolve after the gym leader. I know it probably makes sense to evolve it, but it took so long to grind. I just wanted to battle the gym leader. First was Valerie's Mawile. I brought out Skorupi and pin missiled. It did almost nothing and only hit twice. Bug Bite also didn't do much, so I had to switch. I swapped into Beedrill and then used pin missile. I did more than Skorupi, but we only hit twice. I went for Infestation to get some chip challenge. Chip damage, what the hell. Then on the next turn, I bring in pin missile and hit 5 times before dying. That was a roller coaster. I brought out Mothim next and used Infestation. Then I used Bug Bite and got Mawile to the red, but I knew a potion was coming. Mothim eventually died and I had to bring out Glasses to take care of it. Valerie eventually Hyper Potioned again, and Heracross can only take up so much damage, so eventually it died. I brought in Vivillon next. Bug Buzz was what I should have started with because it did so much damage. However, Bug Buzz would not work on Mr. 9, so Vivillon got punished. I brought out Vespiquen to deal with it. Sylveon was last, but our attacks did next to nothing, and before I knew it, Vespiquen and Skorupi were dead. This was a failed attempt. I'm not sure why, but I went hardcore with the training, and before I knew it, my entire team was level 45. And in this next attempt, we got to Sylveon with only 2 of our Pokemon dead. I had Heracross out, so I pin missiled twice and got a couple lucky crits. However, we only hit twice, and on the next couple turns, Heracross was knocked out. I bring in Beedrill and start pin missiling. We only hit twice again, and Valerie super potioned. I get my pin missile, but Beedrill eventually died. However, it got Sylveon in the red, so I brought Snob in to clean up the rest of the fight. This is the part of the game where the evil Team arc really kicks up. Because of this, now we have to go to a Poke Factory and stop Team Flare. I'm not even gonna ask why they're making a 10-year-old do this. There are a lot of tough fights in this area, but if I went through them all, this video would be so much longer. All you need to know is that we didn't white out to any of the trainers. After this, we got to the snowy part of the region. We went through Floss Cavern, we fought the Team Flare admins, but the game didn't really do much there with teams. All there were 2 Pokemon. I made my way out and got another photo. After this, we got a challenge by our rival. We won easily since most of his team is weak to Bug. I also was looking forward to Olympia's gym because she only has Psychic types. This battle was going to be interesting. First, I felt that it was time for her to change her clothes. Olympia started with Sigilif, a flying type. However, Beedrill got through it. Slowking came out and killed Beedrill. I brought Mothim out so it died. I brought out Messes and pin missiled. However, Slowking used Drowsy, so I had to switch to shake off the sleep. I switched into Glasses and Olympia Hyper Potions. However, Glasses easily takes care of Slowking and Meowstic, winning us the second gym badge that we didn't wipe to. However, it was pretty obvious that we wouldn't wipe to a Psychic type leader. As I said, the game really kicks up here, and this time we get a call from Lysander saying he is going to take over the world. So what better thing to do than to ride a mammoth through a ton of snow? I had to travel all the way back to Luminos City on foot. It took a while, but I finally got there. When we got through Luminos with only 1 whiteout now, it was time for the Geosage hideout. They literally put guards up in Slash City, so you can enter Geosenge. The only way to get in would be flying. So I got a Honchkrow. No, not a Honchkrow. I got a Murkrow and flew to Geosenge. However, I felt that changing clothes would be necessary from all that biking I had to do. I feel like if you ever did a flying type challenge, it would be really fun to do these sky battles. Anyways, it was Lysander time. First was me and Xiao, and I brought on Motham and Silverwind. But we got a crit but fell to acrobatics in the next turn. I brought in Drapion and went for Pin Missile. We had 4 times luckily, but on the next turn we died. I brought in Heracross, but a force where 4 times weak to acrobatics. I finally brought in Vacuum to Infestation. However, we died the next turn. It wasn't until I brought Vivillon to Bug Bust that we got through Lysander's first Pokemon. That wasn't even the Pokemon I was scared of. What I was scared of was this Pyroar, which he sent and wiped whatever was left in my team. Since I was already a bit overleveled, I didn't want to resort to training, so I looked up where you can find the Heracross sites. It actually was in the Saskatoon Forest. However, you can only get it in the post-game, and Mega Beedrill wasn't made up until Oras. I looked up for TMs, but the last one was in a future town we can't enter yet. All signs were pointing to more training. Well, I beat him eventually, but we did it at attempt 23. I don't know why it didn't record. I think I ran out of storage or something, but it took a whole 5 tries. I'm assuming that my team is overleveled. Yep, we're at level 54. The next thing on our list was defeating Sycamore. Heracross took care of Venusaur but died to Charizard. I brought out Drapion for Infestation, then Pin Missile my way through. I put a King's Rock on Drapion and we got a 3-turn flinch from it. Eventually we took it out thanks to Infestation and King's Rock. Blastoise wasn't that hard either. After this we took a photo near some beautiful waterfalls, and then came the point where we have to fight the rivals. Shauna was first, and Motham dealt with Delcatty. He died to Goodrup, but I brought in Drapion to clear things up. Lastly was Greninja, and Pin Missile did a good job. Next was Tierno, and he was my worst nightmare. He had a fire flying type Talonflame. It's such a threat to everything on my team, especially Heracross. I brought out Vespiquen first, then Drapion, and then Beedrill, and so on forth. We wouldn't be able to beat him right now. However, we could get this U-turn since we are at the city that we couldn't get before. I realized that after another failed attempt, I didn't know how much better U-turns could make things, since it wasn't too powerful. Obviously. However, on the next attempt, it was a massacre, and Talonflame still prevailed. Obviously, U-turn wasn't much help. Finally, at attempt 25, with our Pokemon 10 levels higher than his, we knocked out his Talonflame and got through the rest of his team. We got through Trevor's team pretty easy as well, and after this we got to this cold, snowy part of the region. This is also where we get our last encounter, Scyther. Now Scyther only learns 2 bug-type moves, but one of them is Fury Cutter, which increases the more times you use it in a row. This is an insanely powerful move, and it helps us a lot in the Elite Four. We named our Scyther Mosquitoes, by the way. Before challenging the gym, we take a photo before stepping into the final gym. Our team has an average of level 57 as we head into the gym. Our team is slightly under-leveled and we do have the type disadvantage here, so I don't think we'll win first try. Wolfric starts with Abomasnow, and I bring out Scyther to start setting up with Fury Cutter. We take out the Abomasnow with only 44 HP left, and we take an additional 10 HP to Tail. Next was Cryogonal, sorry if I butchered that name, and we one-shot it. Last was Avalugg. One Fury Cutter did more than half, but then we had to die. I brought in Vivillon and U-turned into Vespiquen. I did this so that we could take it out without activating the heal. Unfortunately, Wolfric is still potioned at the range I didn't think he would, so I U-turn out of there and bring in Drapion. But Pin Missile can only do so much, and eventually Drapion died. I brought in Heracross, but it also died in a short moment. I bring in Beedrill to U-turn because I know that if I U-turned, I would be out of the healing range. Well, we landed a crit. The one time we don't want to land a crit, we land one. After Wolfric uses his Hyper Potion, I knew there was no hope. After we got it out, I tried again. This time I started with Vivillon though. This doesn't work as Vivillon gets one shot. Scyther got us to Avalugg but then died. This attempt obviously didn't play out as much as I wanted it to. Now, on many of the gyms, I elaborated on almost all the attempts. However, to save your time, and since all of these battles play out the same way, I'll just tell you the one time I got the badge. It was actually only attempt 29 that we won. I definitely thought that it would be more. And our team was about the same as the Elite Four members. Scyther can 2-shot Abomasnow and can 1-shot Cryogonal, and could do significant damage to Avalugg before dying. I bring in Drapion to use Infestation, however the next turn is a heal turn. I go for Pin Missile but it doesn't do much. Pin Missile in general is such a bad move late game. It carried early and a lot of mid game, but now it kinda sucked. With some help with King's Rock, we managed to get Avalog to the next healing point, but King's Rock can only get you so much and eventually we died. I brought in Beedrill next and went for Pin Missile. However, Atlas' curses were starting to take effect. After Beedrill died, I brought in Vivillon to Bug Buzz and actually take it out. That was pretty cool. I never would have thought Bug Buzz would have done so much in a Pokemon that had so much special defense boost on it. After this, I made my way to Victory Road, which isn't long. I also do a bit of remodeling on the way. They made Victory Road so cool in this generation, I love it. Generation 5 and Generation 6 Victory Road has got to be some of my favorite Victory Roads. Now it's time for a speed up montage. We had our last fight with Calum, and while he did add a lot of good Pokemon for bug types, we defeated him. We actually voted out to his Alakazam, not Calum's, because I forgot to heal. The worst part is, he was one of the last trainers to the league. Now I had to find my way back. With that being said, I forgot to change the Whiteouts counter. I guess it just slipped my mind. So, just keep that in mind. It's actually +1. Finally, it was time for the league. I got my final photo and tipped a man who has been there my entire journey. Phil, the photo guy. It was time for the Elite Four. It was clear to me that Malva was going to be the hardest, but Drasna a close second since she has 2 flying types. I resisted Rick Storm's Pokemon, and Cybolt has a Gyarados. This was not going to be pretty. I chose Cybolt first since we can deal with 3/4 of his team. We started it with our entire team at level 65, by the way. Wow, these animations when you enter the room are pretty cool. Oh yeah, back to the video. Cybolt started with Clawitzer and I bring out Scyther. I started Fury Cutting, and after 2 Fury Cutters we brought Clawitzer to the red and Cybolt healed it. However, we were set now, and we could one-shot it. Next was Barbaracle, his ace, which fell down to 1 Fury Cutter. Next was Intimidate Gyarados. Fury Cutter did half and Gyarados killed Scyther. I brought in Beedrill the Pin Missile. We hit 5 times, but we got Gyarados to the red, so Cybolt full restored. Then of course on the next turn we only hit twice. It seems like something Heracross would do though. I tried a U-turn out of there, but Gyarados one-shots. I bring in Vivillon and U-turn into Snob, so I go for Infestation, but Gyarados gets a crit and a flinch. Talk about bad luck. I bring in Vivillon and it dies, so I bring in Drapion and go for Pin Missile, but Gyarados knew Earthquake, so it was all over. Drapion died and Heracross soon after. Imagine, we couldn't even get past the first Elite Four, the one that I thought would be the most easiest. Attempt 30 +1 was similar. Gyarados used Dragon Dance as a strategy, which especially sucked. I decided to go for Wickstrom next, cause he might be easier. I brought out Scyther to deal with his Klefki and stacked up Fury Cutters. However, the resistance was making it very hard. Wickstorm healed with Klefki and took us out on the next turn. This was not the best start. I brought in Vivillon to Bug Buzz and Wickstorm heals. After exchanging a lot of attacks, Vivillon got Klefki in the red before dying. I brought in Drapion to clean up. However, Klefki tormented before dying, so when Pro Pass came out, I couldn't use the same move twice, and soon Drapion dies. I bring in Beedrill and Infestation. However, Power Gem is too much and we get knocked out. I bring in Heracross to finish Pro Pass. However, Heracross only hits twice on Pin Missile, meaning we take unnecessary damage. Scizor was next, and Pin Missile was not going to work without some serious luck. Scizor finished Heracross, and I only had Vespiquen left. I decided to use Infestation and go for the healing stretch, so we knocked out Scizor with this plan. Lastly was Aegislash. I go for Infestation because I know how much this Pokemon likes to use King Shield. With healing on our side and not the Elite Four sides, we managed to solve this thing out with Infestation and Heal Order till it died. If this battle isn't an indicator that items are insanely OP, then I don't know how to convince you. I healed the team and went to take on Seabolt. First was Clawitzer. I brought in Scizor, and went for Fury Cutter, but a Claw Whisker avoided my Fury Cutter, messing up my entire plan. So I reset. On attempt 32 plus 1, the strategy went according to plan. When Gyarados came up, I did as much damage as I could before dying. I brought in Vespiquen, but we were almost out of heal orders. We infested it but got frozen the next turn. So since we're frozen, Cybolt gets a free heal turn while Gyarados wipes out Vespiquen and the rest of our team. Like Wolfric, I'm not gonna go over every single attempt because after this battle, they get pretty boring. The attempt we finally made one went like this. We got Vivillon to deal with Clawitzer, however it died immediately. Then I brought out Scyther to Fury Cutter and we get a lucky crit to take out Clawitzer. You would think this is lucky, but it's one of those situations where you don't want to crit, because now we aren't set up enough to one-shot Barbrackle. We get it in the red, but he one-shots with Stone Edge. Now I have to deal with Cybolt's Ace now. It proceeds to take out Beedrill as well, and it almost kills Vespiquen, just left it at 1 HP. So when Gyarados comes out, it can just kill it. Now, how are we actually gonna win this fight? Well, I bring in Drapion and go for Infestation, but Gyarados starts Dragon Anti. We Pin Missile but can't do much. Eventually, Drapion dies, and Heracross is literally our only Pokemon. A Pokemon that is so weak to flying, it's crazy, because we're bug fighting. I don't know how we actually won this, but let me tell you how it happened. I Pin Missile 4 times and got a crit. And we got a crit, and in the next turn we tank a Waterfall and knock out Gyarados. Lastly was Starmie, but we outspeed and take it out. What the actual heck happened here? However, we died to Wixstorm because he actually decided to try this time around. However, next attempt we beat both Wixstrom and Seabolt, so it's Jasna time. Jasna starts with Dragalge and we get a Fury Cutter to deal with it. We take a bucket load of damage in the process though. Noivern was sent out next and almost one-shot us, but then we retaliate and almost one-shot it. Then we die from poison. I bring in Vespiquen while Jasna heals. I go for Infestation and decide to take the long way out, so it's just a heal stall. However, we flinched, so that did not work. I bring in Heracross, but Pin Missile is so unreliable now, and it just ends up healing. Eventually, Heracross dies anyway. Vivillon dealt with Noivern and then got killed by Altaria, and I brought out Beedrill to kill it. Lastly was Druddigon, and I Infestation it before dying and whiting out. I try again, but just end up clicking the reload button because I'm very dumb. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Eventually, on attempt 39 plus 1, I got this battle. I brought out level 81 Scyther against level 63 Dragalge. This is almost as high level in my Pokemon Fire Red with only fire types. You should totally check that video, link in the description. Anyways, back to the battle. We easily took out Dragalge and Noivern with Fury Cutter. Next was Altaria. Fury Cutter ended up one-shotting as well. Lastly was Druddigon, which also got one-shotted. I have no clue why I overleveled Scyther so much, but this time it was Malva. She might make us push the level above 83, and make this challenge the one where I leveled up the most. First was Pyroar, but it Noble Roared, and I went for Fury Cutter, but Flamethrower was 2-shot. However, we did finish it off. Next was Torkoal, and I was hoping for a one-shot, but we didn't get it, and Scyther died. I brought in Heracross, as I said, but Pin Missile sucks now. But not in this case, because we got a 4-turn. Next was my worst nightmare, a Fire Fighting type, and it took out Heracross. I brought in Vespiquen to Infestation, and then used a full restore. Then I used Heal Strength. However, due to burn, we died. I bring in Drapion next, but Talonflame gets full restored again, and we eventually die. I bring in Traffic and Bug Boy to finish it off. Lastly was Chandelure, which totally finished Beedrill and annihilated Vivillon. Since I kinda want to get to the champion battle, I'm gonna skip all the failed Elite Four attempts and get on with the final Malva battle. It wasn't until our entire team was level 85 for a battle like this to happen. First was Scyther against Pyroar, and I U-turned the Vespiquen to tank a Flamethrower. Then I U-turned to Scyther. The point of this was to waste the full restore. We Fury Cutter Pyroar, and after Torkoal gets brought out, 2 Fury Cutters do the trick, but we are at 5 HP. However, 1 Fury Cutter brought Talonflame to the red, which means after this heal, Malva will be out of healables, which is amazing. I bring in Vivillon to get some damage, and it worked. Talonflame took out Vivillon and Beedrill until dying. Lastly was Drapion against Chandelure. and since we're 20 levels above it, after a lot of pin missing, we got it into the red and brought out Vesperquin to take. We brought in Heracross to finish the battle. That was it. It was time for the final battle of this challenge. Of course, I went through all the other battles first, but it was time for Diantha the champion. Diantha starts with the Homuncha and we bring out Scyther. We set up Fury Cutter. We set up with Fury Cutter enough to take out Homuncha. We do get poisoned in the process though. However, we take out Tyrantrum and Aurora's with a one-shot Fury Cutter. Future was nerfed and it also got one-shot. Gorgeist finally kills our Mad Machine. I brought out Beedrill to take it out. Finally was Gardevoir and it Mega Evolved. Bug Bite almost killed it, but on the next turn Diantha healed and I U-turned into Vesperquin and a Bug Bite to win us the battle, and become the champion. That was pretty anticlimactic. I think it's because she didn't specialize in a type super offensive to bugs. Our 6 overleveled beasts were a bit too much. However, I would like to thank all of our troopers, Scyther, Beedrill, Vesperquin, Heracross, Vivillon, and Drapion. Scyther carried whatever end he was a part of. Beedrill definitely got us through some tough fights like the first 2 gyms. Vesperquin got us through a lot of the Elite Four with her special move. Heracross and Drapion carried the mid-game for sure, and Vivillon's Bug Buzz got us out of really bad situations. And of course, I have to give a special thanks to Butterfree in the box, since he was the one of us from Aqua Town, and I give my thanks for helping us start our journey. We get congratulated for beating Team Flora, and my friends get congratulated as well because they're great at choosing friends. I would like, oh wait, let me just beat up AC for a second. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, I would like to thank anyone for liking this video and showing your support. This video took over a month to film, script, and edit, so the support is really appreciated. That's all I have now, and I'll see you guys in the next one.